The secret at the core of alchemy is an ineffable experience of the real workings of our local cosmological neighborhood. Doubt it not. So how can one incubate and gestate such an experience? The answer may lie in the word transmitted. Modern sociologists, folks, have begun to discuss the concept of means. Our complex idea groups, such as monotheism or democracy, that appear to have the ability to replicate itself. The means seem to have other properties as well, such as an unusual psychic component.
According to the Greek mythology, the deity Hermes was the son of Zeus, and Maya, one of the daughters of Atlas. He was originally a deity of agriculture and fertility. But in the course of the rise and sophistication of Greek culture, he was raised to the station of the messenger of the gods. As such, he is generally depicted with wings on his heels, a winged helmet, and carrying a caduceus, which has since been associated with the medical profession. Hermes was one of the more benevolent deities and was often associated with the principle of knowledge. Also, the communication of messages from the heavenly world into the abodes of mortals. When the Romans dominated the area, they knew Hermes as Mercury, a god of swiftness, of messages, and to a sense of the ability to read the human mind.
It helps, folks, to think of the secret at the core of alchemy as a very special and sophisticated variety of meaning, like a spore or a seed. The mean has a protective shell that is also attractive to appropriate hosts. And in the case of the alchemy mean, that shell is the seductive allure of transmutation. Transmutation, look it up. The transformation of base metal into gold. However, even if one absorbs the outer shell of the alchemy beam, there is no guarantee that the inner core is going to blossom. And the means become active. Remember? Far beneath the bitter snow lies a seed that with the sun's love in the spring, etc., etc., etc. The music on this broadcast is never frivolously played, folks. So to transmit the idea complex, the gnosis meme through times requires a series of encounters between those in whom the meme is active and those who have merely been exposed to it. From this need evolves the idea of priesthoods. Then, as religious structures degenerated, mystery schools and secret societies. And we can think of these as incubation devices for spiritual means. Through the millennia, the undigested seed of the alchemy mean is jumbled together with other spiritual means, creating a seemingly endless series of hybrid spiritual expressions masquerading as alchemy. Pay close attention to that word, masquerading. However, from its first independent appearance in first century Alexandria to its modern expressions such as Fulcanelli and the Golden Dawn, the secret at the core of the alchemy mean can be traced by its Gnostic ineffableness. The secret protects itself, but in doing so leaves an unmistakable fingerprint. And by following these Gnostic fingerprints, people like me can track the progress of the alchemy meme throughout the history of the human race.
It cannot be communicated according to the Hermetics. It can only be experienced. The answer has to lie within, inasmuch as man himself is locked within a bottle, and everything that is necessary for his survival is within that bottle. And he must use his own ways of reducing his materialistic pressures and releasing his spiritual convictions and overtones. So we have in the Hermetic philosophy this concept that all things arise from within the forms in which they are generated. All things existing have the seed within themselves for the perpetuation of their material kind. And they also have within themselves the hermetic seed of life, by means of which all forms less than perfection can be gradually brought to perfection by causing this seed to grow. The growth of the seed of divinity within man is also part of the philosophy of Jacob Boehme, the great German mystic. He describes the human soul as a tree with its seed in the heart, which grows from within and finally becomes the basis of the tree of all knowledge and all wisdom, which in the book of Revelation is for the healing of the nations. The seed of the great mystery is in each person. Transmutation, therefore, is a transformation from the person's own experience. The alchemist was referred to sometimes as Saturn, the gardener. And all the planets were involved in this story. Saturn was the gardener who had to take care of the garden of the soul. He had to weed it and water it. He had to protect it against all forms of invasion. He had to make certain that it was not neglected. Saturn, as the wise counselor, is also in Oriental and in North African mysticism the symbol of karma. The symbol of repentance, of repayment, the symbol of the inevitable operation of cause and effect. Therefore, it is Saturn who protects the growth of the seed. He surrounds it with protecting forms. He permits it to be discovered only by the pure of heart. He also, in guarding it, must, if necessary, draw out or take out the weeds that have been allowed to gather there. The weeds being false doctrines, false ideas, false concepts of life that try to squeeze out or destroy the true seeds of wisdom.
In the late 1880s, Dr. W. Westcott, the medical examiner for the City of London, was, it just happens by chance, an advanced Rosicrucian adept. A Rosicrucian is a member of the ancient order of Rose and Cross. And he was one of the founders of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, 19th century England's most notable occult organization. He tells us in a 1890 lecture on alchemy that it is never taught in so many words. It may dawn on any one of you. The magic event may occur when least expected, just like I've always told you. Thereby demonstrating that he, Dr. W. Westcott, at least understood that there was a Gnostic secret at the core of alchemy. Now, he can be taken as an authority. He was steeped in Rosicrucian ideas and in helping to found the Golden Dawn, which was the first semi-public, gender-neutral, magical society that accepted both men and women as initiates. He clearly felt he was part of some larger pattern or process, and you'll find that all of these adepts always have that sense of belonging to something larger, always at work. And they are. But they're also known throughout history as the builders. Or builders. Always working toward the completion of the great work. Their tools don't make any noise, for the most part. In his aptly named Flying Roll lectures, therefore, of more than passing interest, it was given early in the organization's history and was presented to the group at large. We can think of it as a sort of cozy preaching to the choir type of exposition of the basic Rosicrucian alchemical tradition, but remember, even when speaking to the adepts, they always speak in the esoteric secret language, so that there is no danger ever of the profane, that's you, listening and actually understanding what it is that he or they or any one of them at any time is actually really saying or communicating. The lecture opens with the assertion that alchemy means simply the higher chemistry, which treats with the essential nature of the elements, metals, and minerals. This is a good direct explanation for the ancient term alchemy, which avoids the pitfalls of speculative philology and other over-esoteric derivations, and it guarantees that you will not understand one word of what it really means. But we will get there. I will make sure that you understand it. It may take quite a few nights of revelatory teaching, but eventually, at least some of you will get it. The next paragraph that he utters plunges us into something very strange. Westcott tells us that the word alchemy was first used by 3rd century Emperor Constantine's court astronomer Julius Firmicus Maternus. He then quotes a curious passage about skill in alchemy depending upon having the moon in the house of Saturn. Now, most of you are lost right there. You think he's talking about astrology. Not on your life. He's talking about time.